The Blackpool Pleasure Beach 2025 season is over, but was it any good? Let's take a look. The 2025 season at the Pleasure Beach started with communication from the Pleasure Beach about what we could expect in terms of ride closures, ride availability and things going on at the park in the coming months and years. And that was already a good thing and a good start to the season in my opinion. Now in terms of what was communicated, not everyone thought that was a good thing, but the fact that they actually communicated that some rides were going to be closed and that they were going to be working on other rides and they got plans for the river caves going forward was a massive step forward in terms of communication from Pleasure Beach compared to what we'd ever seen before. In that press release from the Pleasure Beach, they mentioned that Skyforce would not open in 2025. Now there had been a lot of rumours in 2024 and even going back to 2023 that Skyforce was going to be removed from the Pleasure Beach and that bit of land that it sits on was going to be used for an extended car park for the Boulevard and Big Blue Hotel. Now of course the latter bit of that rumour is still unconfirmed because at the time of filming Skyforce is still at the Pleasure Beach, so it's not been removed, it's not been sold, but as Pleasure Beach told everyone in February, it stayed closed throughout the 2025 season. Whether people were happy or not about Skyforce being closed in 2025, from a communication point of view, this was a massive improvement from Pleasure Beach. As a season pass holder for the last 20 odd years, I have seen many occasions where attractions have been open 1 minute, closed the next, and you never hear anything about it. Couple of examples: Noah's Ark, Trauma Towers, Goldmine, Roller Coaster, Space Invader. All of those attractions were open 1 minute, closed the next. No communication, no announcements, nothing. Nobody ever found out what was going on with those rides until they were removed or they just stayed closed forever. Noah's Ark, a prime example. In the same statement, they mentioned that the river caves would be closed for the whole season. Again, it took some of the guessing out of it because in 2024, it started the season open, then it closed, and then there was just no information. But this time around, they made it very clear it will not be opening, it is being reimagined, and they've not put a timescale on it. Now, a lot of people thought that it was going to reopen alongside a Victas next year. I personally never thought that was going to happen. I think I predicted back in February we'd be looking at 2027, 2028 at the earliest for river caves. I'm going to stick with that. I don't see it opening next year. To be honest, I think we're going to be looking at 2028. But with the improved communication from Pleasure Beach in a couple of months' time, we might know what the situation is with the river caves. But for now, they are keeping all of the information under wraps, but you can't fault it. At the start of the season, they made it very clear it would not be opening, so we all knew where we stood with it. Just one more thing from that statement from February is that Pleasure Beach said that they would be updating Wallace and Gromit with some new scenes from the new film Vengeance Most Foul. And they did it. They stuck to it. So the communication in February to let everyone know what was going on this season in terms of what rides would be closed, what ride would be getting updated, and what ride would be getting reimagined for the future, they were spot on. They didn't leave anyone in the dark with what they were doing. And that for me was a sign that Pleasure Beach are moving in the right direction. Okay, nobody likes to see rides closed, but it is great to get communication from Pleasure Beach. They were open, honest, transparent about the situation at the park. It left us all under no illusions of what to expect in 2025, and I really hope that level of communication and transparency with not only us as the fans and enthusiasts, but with the general public continues for many years to come. Following on from the statement about ride availability, it was opening weekend. Now I did have some concerns about opening weekend because we all know what happened at Pleasure Beach in 2024, but I had this little bit of faith that it would be alright, purely because when you go back to 2019 opening weekend, that was a total disaster. Well then 2020, 2021, 2022 and 2023 were all okay. they were fine for opening days. You know, there is going to be some problems, but compared to 2019, they were absolutely fine. Then we got 2024, and we all know what happened on opening weekend in 2024. It was a total disaster for Pleasure Beach, and it wasn't like they didn't know about it. So this time, they did things very differently, and it showed, because opening weekend in 2025 was so much better, and I was actually relieved for Pleasure Beach that it went well, especially on the back of the announcement about the ride availability, because of course people weren't happy that some rides were going to be closed this year. But like I say, it was good that we got the communication, but I was worried that on the back of that they would have another opening day or opening weekend like 2024. Thankfully, that wasn't the case, and it passed with very few issues, and the ride availability for an opening day in March was absolutely fine. I don't remember having many complaints, if any complaints, on those 2 days at the start of the season, and it was just like a totally different place compared to what we saw at the start of the 2024 season. Following on from opening weekend, a couple of weeks later, there was the official season launch, where the Pleasure Beach invite many business owners from Blackpool, especially hoteliers, to come along and see what's happening in the season ahead. Also, people like myself and other YouTubers and influencers were invited along to the day just to see what Pleasure Beach were up to for 2025. It was a great occasion. It's a good chance to meet other small businesses and larger businesses that are in Blackpool, and it's just a good chance to see what Pleasure Beach are doing. They always do the season launch really well. They have a little show, they have a really good presentation, and this time they surprised everyone with the announcement of the Intamin gyro swing. It was such a good moment in the Globe Theatre at Pleasure Beach when they announced that the gyro swing was coming for 2026. They did reveal the name a little bit later than the season launch. That reveal came in a YouTube video and a press release a couple of weeks later. But just being there in the Globe Theatre when they were just coming to the end to telling us all about the 2025 season, and they were like, oh, there's one more thing we've got to tell you about, by the way. And it was all done in a really, really well edited video where they were talking about everything going on in 2025. And then right at the end, boom, they announced the gyro swing, and everyone was like, yes, we can't wait for this.
And there's one more thing. We're excited to confirm that Pleasure Beach Resort will soon be home to a colossal 138-foot gyro swing opening in 2026.
So the feeling of enthusiasm and hype and everyone just being in a good mood at the end of the season launch was fantastic. It's something that I've remembered all season, and it's just gave me a good feeling about the Pleasure Beach all year. And okay, we're not looking at Blackpool Pleasure Beach of 1994 here, where you've got things like the big one opening and the park's rammed with queues out to the promenade for a brand new roller coaster that's just smashed world records. Things are a bit different now, but the excitement and the hype and the enthusiasm on that day was fantastic. So moving on to May at the Pleasure Beach, and it was the opening of Launchpad, the reimagined version of Ice Blast, the award-winning reimagined Launchpad. I think Pleasure Beach did a great job with it. The press day was fantastic. It was a really good occasion. And strangely enough, Pleasure Beach always seemed to do really well with the weather on media events. Thinking back to Icon here, gorgeous sunshine all day. Thinking back to the Valhalla Media Day, fantastic weather. And once again, for the Launchpad media event, gorgeous sunshine. It was a fantastic day, a fantastic occasion. And a bit of a weird one as well, where me, Mark from Your Experience Guide, and Sean from Theme Park Worldwide were invited to take the first official ride on Launchpad with the board of directors from Pleasure Beach. The three of us were kind of like, really? We're going on it as well? We all kind of stumbled to our seats in shock that we were actually being able to do this. So that was a nice personal touch, and I really appreciate that we were able to do that. I don't know if that was meant to happen, but we were all like, yeah, absolutely, we'll do this. It was excellent. In terms of Launchpad and the reimagining of Ice Blast, I think they did a good job with it. I really do. Now, of course, I am a Pleasure Beach fan, so I always look for the positives at Pleasure Beach. But I do genuinely think they did a good job with Launchpad. I think it's cool how it's got the space theme, it's got the sequence countdown, it's got the mist effects when they're on, it's got the new soundtrack. For what it is and for where it is, I think they did a really good job. I know a lot of people wanted it to be sort of Viking themed and fitting with Valhalla, but I think for what they've done, bearing in mind it is a traditional American style amusement park, I think they did a great job with it.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Here we go.
1.
There we go. Bit of airtime at the top. Happy days from this back. Happy days.
Moving on to a subject that is not going to be all positive, I'm afraid, and that is throughputs and capacity at the Pleasure Beach. Now I'm going to keep this as balanced and fair as possible, because one thing I want to say before I have a grumble about a few things is, at no point through the season do the staff at Pleasure Beach think, you know what, we're going to put a ride on one train to annoy everyone. That's not the case. But there is absolutely no doubt that things could be better for the guest experience. So I'm going to talk about those now and try to be as fair and balanced as possible, but talking about this from a guest experience point of view. The only place to start with this is Big Dipper. Since the middle of the 2024 season, Big Dipper has been on a one train service. Now I don't actually see that changing in 2026 unless it gets a fully computerized system where it can have two trains with computerized block zones and none of it's manual, because Big Dipper is mostly manually operated currently. So I don't think it's going to go back on two trains unless it gets a fully computerized system. But let's talk about Big Dipper as it is now. Big Dipper on a one train service is just not good. It's not good on a busy day, but it's not good on a quiet day either. When you're doing Big Dipper on one train, if it's got more than two trains worth of people in the queue line, you're basically committing 30 minutes at least of your day to ride Big Dipper. Unfortunately, with one train, it is a very tedious queuing experience, and that is because Big Dipper is a long ride. It has two lift hills that are really, really slow. Now, they were slowed down in 2010, I believe, following an incident in 2009. Now, I completely get why they were slowed down, but I do think Pleasure Beach should have the option to put the Big Dipper's lift hills back to their full speed when it's running on a one train service. Because when it's on that one train service and it's going up that lift hill so slowly, it's just adding more and more and more time to the queuing experience for everyone that's just waiting to get on it. Now actually, from a staff point of view, the staff on Big Dipper are fantastic. They charge up and down the train to get those lap bars checked and get the train dispatched. But unfortunately, they're working with one train and they can only go as quick as that one train allows them to do. It's a long ride, it's a good ride, I absolutely love the Big Dipper, but on one train it is just no fun at all. Unfortunately though, I don't see a solution for Pleasure Beach other than investing a lot of money into the computerised braking system that would allow them to run a two train service again. The issue with that is, from a Pleasure Beach point of view, is it worth the money? Because you're talking probably a six-figure sum to put in a computerised system with block zones and little sensors here, there and everywhere. Because not only have you got to do that part of it, you've then got to put in a control system that works with the computerised braking system and block zones, and you're probably going to be looking at new trains. So it's difficult for them to do it. Like, even if they do get a computerised braking system on Dipper, they're investing so much money onto it. But is it going to get people in the park? No. You know, if Pleasure Beach advertise, we've got two trains back on Big Dipper, people aren't going to be like, oh, I've got to go back to Blackpool because Big Dipper's on two trains again. They'll be like, great, why wasn't it on two trains anyway? That's just generally how social media works. For example, all the positivity from our pages on socials about Victas in this last week at the time of recording, and there's still so much negativity about it. So even if Pleasure Beach do put it out there that, hey, we've got Big Dipper back on two trains, we've got a modernised system on it, people will be like, and? So it's not going to get people back to the park. That is the issue that they've got. So yes, us as pass holders and regular visitors might well moan about it being on one train, but is it worth it for them to spend the money? You're talking well over 100 grand here to get it back on two trains with a computerised modern system. Is it worth it for them? Probably not. Do we want new rides? Yes. Are we going to get new rides if they're having to invest lots of money into what they've got to modernise them? Probably not. So it's a bit of a pickle for them, to be honest. I don't know what the best solution is. But going back to the first point of it, Big Dipper on one train is not a good experience, but I don't see how it improves. Sticking with wooden roller coasters, the Grand National, Nickelodeon Streak are both not the best to queue for. Both on the lowest capacity that they can be. Again, I don't know if there's a fix for that. Nickelodeon Streak, same situation as Big Dipper, one train service, manual operation. To put it on a two train service, it's got to be computerised. Is that going to happen? No. If it was going to happen, it would happen in 2011. So Nickelodeon Streak, one train, the queuing experience for it, not good. Again, the staff do a great job. They get the trains out really quickly. But when you've only got one train and it's a popular family wooden coaster, not a fun queuing experience. Grand National, not a fun queuing experience, whether it's on two trains or four trains. This year it's only been on two trains. Four trains doesn't massively improve the actual throughput per hour. Unfortunately, that's because of the way the computer system's set up. Now, I'm not going to go into full details about that, but four trains on the National does not massively improve the throughputs compared to when it's on two trains. The queuing experience for it on two or four trains is just not fun at all. And that is why I don't do it as much as I perhaps would like to do it. But again, this is not a new thing, and neither is the situation with Nickelodeon Streak. They're just unpleasant to queue for, and they can take ages. Steeplechase, again, not a new situation, but a slow and sometimes tedious queuing experience. If you catch it on a quiet day, you can just lap it, because sometimes on the really quiet days at Pleasure Beach, for some reason, Steeplechase just gets ignored, which is fantastic, especially as my little boy loves that coaster. It is his favourite coaster and favourite ride at Pleasure Beach, and he does have me lapping it quite often. But when we're there on a busy day, I'll avoid it unless I'm with my son, who has to do it when he's there. If I'm with my friends and not my son, I avoid it because of the queue line. It's a slow experience to queue for. Quite often it's on the two lanes. Again, this is not the staff's fault. This is just what this ride is. It doesn't have great capacity. I am curious about its future. It has been a bit weird seeing it open on reduced hours compared to rides around it. Sometimes it's been on like a 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. when Pleasure Beach is open from 11 to 5. So I've seen a lot of that this year with Steeplechase. I'm not sure if that's because they're slowly winding it down, ready to sort of move it on and modernise that area of the Pleasure Beach. I personally wouldn't mind that. I would have an angry son about it, but if that happens, it happens. I am very curious to see what happens with Steeplechase going forward, but again, it's not a new thing, just not a great one to queue for. Revolution, no problems. Yes, it only has one train for very obvious reasons. That can't have more than one train. Like, really, it can't. I think we all know that, but just putting out there that that can only have one train. But it does move a queue pretty quickly. Like, the staff up there are usually really good, really efficient, and even though they have to keep telling people to stand behind the yellow line, they do a great job up there, and that queue, even when it's at the bottom of the steps, does move really quickly, to be fair. So let's talk about the big ones, throughputs and capacity. Now, at the start of the season, I did have my concerns because it was on one train for quite a lot of the opening part of the season. But then, just out of nowhere, two trains, and it just seemed to be on two trains after that every single time I went to the Pleasure Beach. Now, I have seen another sort of Pleasure Beach focus page complaining that it's always on one train. That's not true. I mean, there is literally a video on our channel from August when the big one was on two trains all day, because I could confirm that because I sat on the thing all day and did 100 rides on it. But but more often than not, when I did the Pleasure Beach in the summer, the big one was on 2 trains. Now, there has been times where it has been on 1 train in the off-peak days, but on those days, it's been absolutely pouring down with rain, it's been windy, and there's been about 500 people at the Pleasure Beach. So why would it be on more than 1 train on one of those days? But late night riding, busy Saturdays, busy Sundays, 2 trains, most of the time, if not all of the time. Icon, 3 trains, most of the time. Now, we all know that Enzo does slow things down. It can cause a bit of a nuisance for people that are waiting for the back row. But in general, 3 trains, staff have smashed it on there. They've done great all season. And I forgot to say that about the big one as well. The staff have been great on there all season. So Icon, big one, Revolution, the staff have all been fantastic. They've all been as efficient as they possibly can be. Cannot fault them at all. I am now going to talk about Valhalla. Valhalla has been a topic of interest all season. I've seen many comments on our Pleasure Beach vlog saying, why are you not talking about Valhalla opening at 2 p.m. and closing at 5 p.m? Well, it's a good point. Why did we not talk about it? Well, probably because we don't really go on it that often anyway. But it is something that I think Pleasure Beach can maybe look at changing going forward in 2026. I have been wondering with Valhalla, instead of Pleasure Beach opening it every single day on a 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, would it be better for Pleasure Beach to not open Valhalla at all in March, open it for the Easter holidays for the 2 weeks and then close it again, reopen it in May ahead of the school trip season, and then keep it open throughout summer until, say, early September, and then just finish it for the season? And then rather than it being open for 3 hours a day, they could maybe look at opening it for much longer in the days that it's open, but not have it open as many days in the season. For example, instead of having it open on a random Wednesday in May when you've got like less than 1,000 people in the Pleasure Beach, would it be worth keeping it closed on those days and opening it on the Saturdays and Sundays maybe? Have it open at the peak times, have it open when you've got school trips in the week, and just have it open all day instead of having it open for 3 hours. Because when it's only open for a couple of hours in the day, when it does open, pretty much the whole park piles to it. Now, the issue with that is Valhalla's throughputs are not like they were when it opened. Valhalla opened with 25 boats in service when it opened in 2000. That was quickly cut down to 18 boats, and then to 16, then to 12. Even when it was on a 12 boat service, the queue line was okay. It moved at a reasonable rate. Now it's down to somewhere like 8 boats. It can be a very, very slow and tedious queuing experience. So I do wonder if it would be better from a guest experience point of view if Valhalla was shut on the off-peak days at the start of the season and at the end of the season, but when it is open on the more busier days, it's open for a longer period of time. I'm not for 1 minute suggesting that Pleasure Beach should open Valhalla at 10 a.m. when the park opens, because I don't think many people would go on it. But would it be better to open it at, say, 12 p.m. and then have it open through to park close, rather than 2 p.m. to park close, especially on those 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. days when there's not many people in the park? Would it be better for it to be open on a longer duration of time when there's lots of people in the park? Again, much like Big Dipper, much like Nickelodeon Streak, I don't know what the solution is for Pleasure Beach with Valhalla. Clearly, Valhalla costs an absolute fortune for Pleasure Beach to run. I often wonder why they did reimagine it. I know it's an award-winning ride. I know that some people consider it to be world class, and I know that it is a fan favourite at Pleasure Beach. But from a business point of view and a financial point of view, it does always amaze me that Pleasure Beach went through with the reimagining. I sometimes wonder if they should have kind of used COVID to their advantage a little bit with Valhalla and then been done with it and said, supply chain issues, we can't reimagine it, it's going to cost too much, we can't get the parts, blah, 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 all the COVID spiel that everyone was using, and be done with it and cut their running costs massively. I haven't seen the finances, I don't know how much it costs, but they've made no secret of the fact that it costs an absolute fortune. So it does make me wonder, would it be better for Pleasure Beach to get rid of Valhalla? But that is a whole different subject. But I do wonder if there's a better way for them to operate it at the minute, which suits them from the finances and the operational side of it, but also in a way that benefits guests that it's open for longer than 3 hours a day. Thankfully, I'm not in a position where I have to make a decision about the future of Valhalla in terms of how long it's open for and how long it stays at Pleasure Beach. But I do wonder what the future holds for Valhalla at the Pleasure Beach. So a few more observations about Pleasure Beach in 2025, starting with twilight thrills and late night riding. They have been fantastic occasions to visit the Pleasure Beach in 2025 and all the years before it that those events have been on. To be able to go on the rides in the dark is still a magical experience at Pleasure Beach. Nowhere else in the UK, whether it be a theme park, an amusement park, a fun fair or a water park, does nighttime events like the Pleasure Beach. Late night riding, twilight thrills, incredible events. There is nothing quite like taking a sunset ride on the big one at Pleasure Beach. Incredible. Moving on, and I'm going to talk about something here briefly that never gets a mention on your experience guide. Hot ice. Hot ice at Blackpool Pleasure Beach Resort. I was personally invited by Amanda Thompson to go to the hot ice opening night. I was very, very grateful to get that invite through the post. I went to the opening night event with my mum. We had a fantastic evening. The whole occasion was fantastic. We felt very welcome. There was a lot of people there from the visitor attraction industry, a lot of people that you normally see at the IAPA Expos, including Intamin. That was really cool to speak to those guys and lots of other people from the industry. It was just a good night as well. I want to give a shout out to Redbeard, who delayed the second half of Hot Ice on opening night because he was faffing around. I can't remember what he was doing. He was blaming me, but it was definitely his fault that the second half of the show got delayed. All in all, it was a fantastic night. I really appreciate being invited, and the show was good too. I mean, hot ice is not my thing. I've got to be honest, I'm not really into ice skating. It's not something that I'm actively interested in. But the production of it was fantastic. The skaters were fantastic, and the whole event was fantastic. So really, really grateful to have been there, and kind of hoping it happens again in 2026. Journey to Hell 2025, again a step in the right direction for Pleasure Beach and Halloween. 2024's Journey to Hell I think was slightly better than the 2025 version, but both versions are a massive improvement on where Journey to Hell was in 2019, 2021 and all of the other years it's been on. It's not Tully's, it's not Fright Nights, but it is Pleasure Beach's Halloween event. It's good, it's improving, they're working with what they've got, they're putting heart and passion into it, and I think they're doing a great job of it now, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in 2026. This next point is kind of going full circle back to a point I made at the start of the video, and that is on the subject of marketing and PR at Pleasure Beach. It is massively improved. The communication and transparency from Pleasure Beach about the good things going on and things that we might not think are good that are going on has been fantastic. They're doing a great job with it. I've been involved with Pleasure Beach for a long time. Back in our Pleasure Beach experience days, we were also running Club Pleasure Beach. Back then I saw a lot of things from a communication and a transparency point of view that I really didn't like. The Wild Mouse closure, Valhalla's reimagining situation, two prime examples amongst many, many more things that could be spoken about. But I'm not going to talk about them today. I'm going to talk about the here and now, and the marketing and PR at Pleasure Beach is massively improved. They're making great strides to move in the right direction and do things so much better than they've ever done as a business before. And it is great to see, and I cannot wait to see what they do with the Evictas marketing campaigns in 2026. So to start wrapping up this Blackpool Pleasure Beach Resort review video from 2025, I can genuinely say that this has been a good season and that I have enjoyed it more than the last few years. 2021 was a fantastic season. I really enjoyed the 125th anniversary season. But 2022, 2023, 2024, in my opinion, they were not good seasons for Pleasure Beach. I didn't enjoy visiting them personally, and it just felt like the park was not heading in the right direction. In 2025, I've seen that the Pleasure Beach are trying to improve. They're trying to do things differently. they're making the right movements to be a better place for the guests, whether you are a season pass holder or you only visit once a year. They are trying to improve the guest experience for everyone. There is a long way to go, especially from a ride throughput point of view, but a lot of the issues there are things that are historical issues and may not be sorted without just taking the particular ride out and replacing it with something modern. And Pleasure Beach are looking to modernise the park going forward. After Evictas, it will be interesting to see what happens with the river caves and what happens beyond that as well. I feel like they'll want to put a new coaster in to replace the Grand Prix or somewhere else in the park. What that will be and where it will go remains to be seen right now. But I think Pleasure Beach want to keep modernising. They don't just want the same people repeat visiting every year with nobody new going. They want the repeat custom, but they also want new custom as well. And to do that, they will have to modernise the park. And it's going to be interesting to see how they do it and what their approach to that is. One last thing before I go. In 2026, it's Blackpool Pleasure Beach's 130th anniversary season. So here on Your Experience Guide, we're going to celebrate that with a lot of Blackpool Pleasure Beach Resort content. And that will start in January. We've got a really good series lined up. I'm already working on it. I'm putting a lot of time, a lot of effort, more effort than I've put into any Pleasure Beach video for a long time. It's good, like the effort levels are similar to what I did with the Blackpool Pleasure Beach 125th anniversary documentary. And that is going to be a mini series in January. Really excited to share that on the channel next year. And that will be consistent throughout the season. There will be a lot of celebrations of Blackpool Pleasure Beach's 130th anniversary through various different video series throughout the year. So looking forward to sharing more info on those soon. But for now, that's all. If you have enjoyed this season review video here on Your Experience Guide, please do hit the like button. It's a little thumbs up below. Please comment, please subscribe. Many thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.